Hi everyone, and welcome to the judgment, or judging, I guess, of the Rube Codeberg competition. So I have here with me the 4 judges that have looked at all of your submissions. We have Lily Ryan, Tom Eastman, Marion McLeod, and Russ Keith McGee. They've been spending the past hour enjoying or being horrified by, or hopefully both, all of your lovely submissions. I haven't seen any of them. I've gotten a few minor spoilers in the process of setting this up and getting all the screen sharing working. But other than that, I haven't seen anything. So I'm going to be like the sort of like reaction video YouTuber in the corner as they show us everything that we've got coming. And as you can probably tell by the amount of ums and ahs and the untidiness. Oh, I pointed the wrong way. The untidiness on the couch behind me, where this is as sprints often are, a little bit more laid back than the past 2 days. So with that said, I am going to throw over to Lily Ryan, who's going to get us started.
Awesome, thank you, Lee. Yeah, we've had a very good time judging these. So I've invited Tom and Marin here specifically because they were the instigators of the Great Flip-Flopperator incident of 2018, and are therefore highly qualified to judge competitions of this sort. We had 17 entries that were in before deadline, and several more that came in just after the deadline, which makes me sad because some of them look so awesome. But we've kept it to the 17 that were in before deadline. I know some of you will have had a look at some of them. We have had a lot of fun looking through them, and we have chosen the outcome. But before we get into it, I want to read the rules to remind you all what they were. Your program must print Hello World on the screen somehow. We don't care how. It doesn't have to be the console as a result of being executed. It must be written for this competition, and to prove it, you must import and use the Beautiful Soup library in your entry. I know that there was one entry that was very cool, but imported but did not use the Beautiful Soup library, and sorry. It must be under 200 lines. All comments are part of the line count. There were some entries that had scripts that were under 200 lines, but also then included many, many other files that bumped it way over 200 lines. But, you know, we can be a little flexible. It must be understandable / easy to parse by humans, which I think most of them were. We got there. It must actually run successfully. This was interesting. We had a few DNS issues because it's always DNS with some of the entries. But we did manage to run, I think, all of them successfully. Yay. Must be written in Python 3, and it must abide by the code of conduct. So it mustn't be malware. As far as I can tell, none of this was malware except in the sense of it being mull, in that it was bad. It was all very bad and terrible.
Is that what's been going on with my computer since I ran that one?
Russ has had to reboot like 3 times in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
there's
we're sure it wasn't you guys. We believe in you.
There's either no malware or very good malware, is what we're saying.
Yes.
But in all
Yeah.
seriousness, please, like, don't do malware. It's bad, especially if you're giving it to us. Before we, is that the end of the rules? Really? Sorry, before I.
That is the end of the rules.
Before we go on, there have been 1 or 2 questions in the chat about what exactly the flip-flop operator is. And someone has already kindly jumped in with our link to our in-joke documentation. But why don't Tom and Merrin, could you give us a 60-second overview of the flip-flop operator?
We'll let Merrin take that one. I had nothing to do with it.
So
that's a lie.
I didn't say a word. I didn't say a word about
in 2018, Tom gave a talk where he mentioned that in Ruby he learned about flip-floperator and in Ruby.
I didn't say a word. It wasn't me.
And then he came up to me, and because I, write Ruby, he asked me to give a lightning talk on the topic of the flip-flop operator, which is a very rarely used, well, at the time it was a very rarely used and deprecated function, and now it's not there at all. But I really learned, so I gave a 5-minute talk about how this thing worked, and I learned a lot about the cheekiness and the dedication to shenanigans of the Australian Python community, because there was some truly epic efforts to implement this questionable idea of a operator, and
clearly our community has not learned because they came back.
So I think we're really this is showing the dedication to shenanigans.
I'm learning from Katie McLaughlin in the chat that the flip-flop operator has been undeprecated. Is that right?
Oh, really?
Due to popular demand, I'm sure.
What is our fault? I know Merrin is now cited as a source on Wikipedia as a result of that talk as well. But
I don't think I knew that.
I didn't know that either.
If you would like to know more about the flip-flop operator, if you go to that link, the culture link that was posted earlier in the chat, I'm sure someone will post it again very shortly. There is a direct link to both the original talk and the talk where Merrin, Tom, and Zach Hadfield Dodds, who isn't on this call, judged
Kathy points out
variety.
that the Ruby developers flip-flopped on the decision.
Oh, Kathy. Oh, Kathy. Betsy's impressed. Okay, so the flip-flop operator happens in 2018. Today, we are doing something far more simple. We are doing Hello World. So shall we kick off?
Hello World, to its credit, has not been deprecated.
This is true.
Who are we looking at first?
Well, I thought what I might do is go around each of the judges and get them to talk about one of the entries that they enjoyed the most, because we had such a good time looking through all of these, which is why we were running a little late here. So, Tom, would you mind kicking off? What did you enjoy the most out of the ones that we have,
Okay, so we had a couple categories of things to happen, and so I just want to give a shout out to, there was an idea that came up a bunch of times, which was trolling through web pages like Wikipedia to find either the words "hello" and "world" to pull out, or I think a lot of people really went to the literal extent of the rules and used Beautiful Soup to go to the rules page to grab the string "hello world" out of the rules for the competition, which I felt was the most beautifully literal interpretation of "please print thus string hello world." You got what we got what we asked
This hello
for.
world,
So,
this one here.
And so there's
this specific hello world we requested.
So there was several entries that did that, and I wanna shout them out. The one that I want to demonstrate for people is the entry by James Constable. So if my terminal window is visible, okay, cool. So we have Rube Codeberg right here, and I'm going to run it. Okay, it works as advertised. Yeah. It does the thing. I used just to prove to you that was Python 3. Python 3 runs it. Okay, cool. Let's just make sure that it is the right length. We'll do a word count on it. It is 199 lines, so it is just right there. Okay, so let's just look at the source code. What?
What? What?
What you're looking at here is an entire maze encoded in the comments to the right of the source code. Now you'll see that the maze has HTML characters in it, but you'll see that there's a giant P there. Y C O N A U 2020. Right down here on the 199th line.
This is why we didn't tell Lee anything about the entries.
It works by doing a depth first maze traversal all the way through the maze and picking up the characters as it goes along, just like Pac-Man. It eats up an HTML file, and then it prints out the HTML file, and it uses Beautiful Soup to parse it, and it spits out the title, and the title is Hello World. And that is just magnificent. However, these are not doc strings. It's not a well-documented program. Yeah. I'm really sorry, James. You came so close. It was magnificent. But, oh, man, you got to document your code, dude. That was my favorite. I really wanted to shout that one out before we get to the winners. Who would like to show one off next?
Russ, do you want to go next?
I won't show off. I will, however, point out a couple of entrants did thoroughly embrace the enterprise nature of what we're talking about here. We had a couple of entries that generated HTML documents or XML, SGML documents that registered entities for the characters, and then would use Beautiful Soup to pull out the counts of the character and entities that were in the document and use that to look up in an ASCII table, which I think deserves to be thoroughly supported as an enterprise activity. There was also only one applicant who generated a full test suite for their code inside their 199 characters. So Brian May did generate a full test suite, fully not complete coverage of test of the code, so possible deduction of marks there for not full coverage, but having coverage at all, 78%, and some of those may have been blank lines, or like we didn't really dig into exactly why they were getting the test failures. But
you got to test.
I do think it. Exactly. Well, exactly. But it is very honourable that you went to the effort of testing at all.
Trevor Peacock's entry also had tests in it.
Oh, did I miss the test?
I don't know if we did coverage checks on that.
Sorry. We did, yes.
I don't think we did coverage checks on that, but it did have tests.
I do apologise, Trevor. You also get a gold star for testing.
The chat is saying the tests are overrated. Zach wants to know if the tests were written by hand or generated as well.
They were not hypothesis tests, no. So there is no fuzzing or any confirmation here. So Zach, yes, I'm afraid these may have edge cases that are not being caught at.
We demand high quality from our terrible, silly code.
Indeed.
Maren, are there any that you looked at that you want to call out specifically before we get on to our finalists?
So with the name of the competition, I felt that there were a number of entrants that really evoked the spirit of a Rube Goldberg machine by going to ridiculous lengths to do a very simple activity, and often, in quite a beautiful and thorough way. And some of the same ones that Tom and Russell have pointed out. I'll see if I can I'll bring up Yakov's one. Can you see my screen? Can I share that?
Yep. I just got to press the button.
I think I might have actually made some kind of mistake in my terminal window, because it didn't used to look this cool when it came out before, until I increased the font size. But if I go like this, you can see the intensity of the programming that's going on here. There's some kind of hash,
deep crypto
on here. Yeah, some deep crypto. And
it's actually just mining Bitcoin on your machine, Maren.
It's possible. It is entirely possible. And you know what? I respect that. So there are a couple of them that had some slightly different outputs. So it wasn't quite a lot of them just said "Hello World" in the output, just "Hello World."
Curly coin. Sorry, Katie has just posted curly coin in the chat, which is we need to make.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. But some of them did it a little bit more interestingly. So should I demonstrate? I can't actually remember whose this is, but oh no, sorry, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, that's Yakov.
Trying to come up with.
Here we go. So this post looks really neat in the terminal, and also is running a server.
Okay, yeah, no, so hang on. Yeah, this is Andrew McGee, I believe.
Yep.
Is that
yeah,
right? Yep.
Yeah, this is Andrews.
Okay, I feel like we should just page through the source code just quickly to show what's happening here, because what's happening here is bat. I was about to say bat.
There are bats involved.
Bat guano.
Bat guano.
So what's happening here is bat guano. Shall we switch to my terminal, or do you want to page
Go
through it,
ahead.
Maren?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Am I switching to Tom?
Switch to Tom.
Yeah.
Let me just. Okay. So I don't know what's going on with this first part. It's got some list stuff. A lot of people have like crazy list stuff. Okay. But I thank you for the documentation. It's not doc strings, but I like doc strings. But anyway, okay. So unpacking the dictionary into a list of lines we can print. Then we are constructing HTML out of that, but we want to make sure the output is pretty. So we use Beautiful Soup to prettify the HTML. Then we spin up a web server. So we spin up a web server to serve up the HTML that we just prod up. But rather than use requests to fetch the HTML, we spin up our own terminal, our own telnet server. Sorry, telnet client to connect to our HTTP server in a thread. Okay, and then we retrieve the pretty HTML, we process it into a list of line index character tuples, and then we shuffle all of those, and we pull up the curly boy color scheme. Kudos for that. Curly boy colors in terminal escape codes. We randomize them with some extra bits and pieces. We have some software engineering here, because you can tell it's software engineering because it's a curly boy color getter factory. Some other stuff happens. I lose track of time, and what you get is that magnificent, sparkling hello world. So that is spectacular. Well done,
That's
Andrew.
gorgeous.
I love it.
And this leads me to my next point, which is that we had so many good entries that we could not choose a single winner. We chose 3. And this was one of them. So Andrew McGee with Sparkly Telnet, thank you and congrats, because you are the first winner of the first Rube Codeberg competition ever. So the second winner, which is, Russ, you have a bit of a. You have Russ, the physical artifact.
Yes, we have. Yeah, so this is a case of be careful what you ask for, because we asked someone to print "Hello World," and so they printed "Hello World." They actually opened up a browser, put a HTML document with an SVG curly boy across the bottom of the page, which you can probably see if I hold it up a little closer, and then directed the web browser to open its print dialog, which I was able to spit out at the printer down the hall. So yes, so Barney Harroborough absolutely gave us exactly what we wanted. We got a printed "Hello World,"
and for that, "Hello World."
Successfully, they win one of the coveted prizes as well.
Lee, go on.
Can we just once again, looking at the attendee chat, draw attention to the fact that out of all of the presenters, thanks Katie for pointing this out, Russ is the one that has a printer.
I'm enterprise grade. I'm telling you.
I was astonished too.
Russ
genuinely children who are school age, so
I'm pretty sure Russ is the oldest one. Russ is the oldest one in this chat, right? So like he'd be the one with the printer.
I am business dad.
I think Russ, you also are the person who should take us through.
I don't have the source code.
Oh yeah,
ready to run.
The last winner.
I think you went on a little bit of an adventure. So how about you take us through how this last one was implemented, and you tell us all about it.
Right. Okay. So the last winner is Cynthia Del Rio, who wins an award for the most thorough usage of object orientation. They have gone to the levels of defining classes for each of the letters that are being printed, which, when instantiated, print themselves appropriately. But don't just print themselves; they also go through the process of rendering themselves through a factory mechanism to make sure that they're being printed appropriately and prettily. They go and they get the character. They go and they generate each character as an ASCII art letter, and then prints it banner style, like a vertical banner style. But every time that it does it, it uses a different font for every character. So you get a different rendering every time you print "Hello World," which I think, Maren, you had the sample text.
Yep.
Did you have it there, or yep?
So
we got a Maren.
There's the button.
Yeah. So here we go. So
can you embiggen that, please, Maren?
That's magnificent.
So if we have a look at each of these, and it does it differently each time that it's
different font every time. Yep.
Yeah. So we've got this lovely L, R, O. I guess you could call that a W. Yeah. A different O. That's quite a nice H. We run it again. We've got some. Oh, that's a very good R. Different O.
Tiny little O. Yes.
So truly, like some wonderful typography at work in this machine.
Amazing.
Yeah. So those are our three winners. So we have Cynthia Del Rio, Andrew McGee, and Bardi Harborough. And we are really, really pleased with all of the entries we got. We wish we could have seen all of the ones that snuck in after the deadline as well, because they look. I think there was a CLI game got mentioned, a couple of other things which sound amazing.
Stream wow. Hang on, press the button. Press the button.
But yeah, I wasn't even sure that anyone was going to enter the competition, but I clearly underestimated the appetite of this audience for shenanigans. So thank you so much. I hope
you're all very proud of yourself.
You're all terrible. This was wonderful. We had a very good time this afternoon, and my dog wants to play now. Okay.
I'm so glad that we did this. Thank you so much, Lily, for organizing this and putting this together at the 11th hour. And thank you, Tom, Maren, and Russ for helping judge. And thank you, everyone that entered. This is just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Adam's saying in the chat, if you want to run Adams, it will only work today.
So possible that it might not work at all if you have some particular DNS problems.
Yeah, no, Adam, we need to talk because
is this an honorable mention? Are we going to go through this on stream?
Oh yes, honorable mention. Yes, we could definitely point this one out. I tried to run it first, and it didn't work.
And I couldn't run it either.
It turns out, so it's not and I'm on Mac and Tom's on Unix, so it wasn't that. But for some reason, example.org doesn't resolve on some computers. And I thought it was just because the gremlins that are in my computer at the moment. But no, it's my gremlins are so good they got into Tom's computer. So,
Adam's entry requires being able to fetch HTML from example.org. I think systemd won't let me or something.
And someone's asking if there's a list of all the submissions. You can have a look in the Rube Codeberg submissions channel.
Adam has just caught up to this, and Venulus is reloading. Adam has just caught up to us on the 20-second delay, and is posting in all caps, what? I picked example.org because it works.
It was DNS. It was always DNS.
We need to give a special mention for flakiness.
Yeah, there's no example.org on my browser, on Firefox or Chrome. It ain't there.
Yep.
No, and it wasn't dub versus no dub. It wasn't. We tried that. It was just if you're Tom
versus HTTPS.
or Russ. Yeah.
Yep. I have no examples. I don't know what to say.
Anyway,
we're less of a bad example and more of a horrible warning.
Yeah.
Tobias would like to remind us all that the real DNS was the one that we found along the way. Yes. And then we've got some people pasting an RFC into chat.
This is what happens.
Which will be the example.
Now you know it's getting serious.
Yeah, when people are pasting RFCs
we got
into
some
chat,
rules lawyers kicking in here.
Something's happening.
Look, the fact remains it didn't work for some of us. I don't know what to tell you.
I was having an existential crisis about example.org.
Oh, apparently we found a bug. DNSSEC might be a bit broken with example.org.
Right.
Amazing.
Out of scope. Okay,
cool.
No, DNS is out of scope for the Hello World competition. I'm calling it there.
Good job, PyCon AU. We've found fault in an RFC.
If you were one of the winners, please get in touch and we'll make sure your shiny prize comes your way.
Oh yeah, thank you for doing the logistics bit, Russ.
Yeah, we'll get in touch with you, or we'll get in touch with you because we've got your.
We know where you live.
Well, we don't, but we need to post.
No, that's true. Okay.
Unless you're one of the first 50, in which case we gave us your address for them, but then that could be their mailing address and not their postal address because the mug will go over them. It doesn't matter. We don't have to talk about this on the stream.
But before we go, I really do want to say that there was 17 entries, and every single one of them delighted us in one way or another. Like every single one of them, every single one was like, "Wait, what is that doing? What?" So we had a lot of fun with this. Thank you, everyone.
Followed by a moment of, "Oh my god." And yeah, for people asking where the entries are, they're in the Rube Goldberg competition channel in Venulus at the moment, but we've compiled a list of them and we will put those up on the website if people are happy with that. If you are not happy with that, please put that in the channel.
You probably should have posted it to GitHub then.
Yeah, but we can put a list up for posterity because we have a list.
Yep. Oh, no, now, okay, we've got more related RFCs being posted.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
The people are talking about capitalization in DNS, and it's Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me in whatever this was.
It's so much fun.
I feel like there are very few events where bugs in RFCs relating to DNS out of scope for the Hello World competition is a sentence that makes sense. And I have been absolutely delighted to be here running one this year and to have had all of you along with this ridiculous thing. And thank you so much for everyone that entered and tuned in to watch. So with that said,
we broke her. We broke her.
We've broken Lee.
That happened long ago. All right, let me catch my breath. With that said, thank you from all of us. I believe this is the last event of this thing, which was originally called Sprints and now apparently is called Sunday Fun Day because someone in my team renamed it while I was asleep. But it's fine, Libby. It's alliterations. I'm cool with it.
There's the Animal Crossing boff that happened.
Yes, Animal Crossing. Yes. Animal Crossing is happening. I need to water my roses, I think. In Animal Crossing, I'm not organized enough to look after real plants. And I'm just rambling in front of, I don't have the stats open, but lots of people. So I'm going to go and play Animal Crossing with all of you. And I hope you will all join us on the dates that I said yesterday. I don't know what they are because I don't have an audio queue in front of me for this. The second weekend of August next year, we will either be here or in Adelaide or something else. I don't know, but it'll be that weekend. And thank you for joining us for this interesting 3 days. See ya. Let's all keep waving until AV cut us off.